Hi there, this is Lori from Lollipop Paper and Ink. Welcome to my stamp studio. A few days ago we had the release of our new January to June 2021 mini catalog. And so all week I've been doing some showcasing of some products. I had my favorites list put up on my blog, and I did a few videos, and I'm having a kickoff pretty much all week and then into the weekend. So for this video, I wanted to showcase a particular product that's in the catalog. It's on page 33 actually. It's from the Fine Art Floral Suite. So this suite is pages 32 to 34. What I want to work with today is the gold gilded leafing embellishment along with the heat and stick powder that we need to make it work together so that it adds this beautiful gold accents to our cards. So let's get busy with that. I'll show you how it comes. It looks like this. It's mostly air in here. So when you open it, be very careful. As you can see, gold leafing will fly throughout the whole area, where you even need to be careful how you're breathing because it's so light, it just takes off. So what I did was I put a little bit in here, and that's to make it easier for me to work with so I can use it a little bit at a time. And so I'll show you how we're going to get that all on there later. But first we need to do some stamping so we can get the project set. So we're going to do this. This was my inspiration, so this is my project that we're going to do. You can see the gold leafing on here, and it's sporadic. You can put as much or as little as you want. So let's try that. I'm using the art gallery, these two beautiful two-step floral images, and we're going to start with those. I'm going to keep it on my So Saffron paper cardstock. And it's two-step stamping. Normally I would use my Stamparatus if I was going to be doing the full flower with the two steps here and then maybe add the leaf and the stem. But since this is just going to be random images on this layer, it's fine that I can just use a block. So what I'm going to do here is, because I want the inner image to come out more, and that's let me just interrupt myself here. You need to be careful that your gold flakes don't end up on your stamp, on your actual image here on the stamp, because that will mess it up when you try to put ink on it. So, so because I want this to stand out, and then later on we're going to have the gold actually on this this image also, I'm going to stamp off with this image first all around. Not too much, but I just want this to be really light compared to the full images once we're all done. So let's see, I'll just go here. Give it a full one right here. And then we just want to make sure our edges have some kind of color to them. Okay, so that's good for the solid image. Now I'm going to go back in, and this image is pretty close. It's pretty easy to stamp right over it. The light is pretty tough to see for me to see it here, but because I can't get right over it. But I don't think it's really not going to matter, because the gold leafing is really the star of the show here. So it would be a lot easier if it wasn't dark out and my lights are not as good. I can't tell where this one goes at all, so I'm just going to lay it down there. That was a good shot. Okay. And then let's put a little bit here. And a little bit on these end pieces right here. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, now is the fun part. Let me get rid of these. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take, it's just like embossing, heat embossing. So what I'm going to do is just go off camera for a second and make sure I clean off this stamp, the second stamp that we used, because now we're going to stamp it in Versamark. Okay, so I just used my chamois there, make sure I got that ink nice and clean, the block nice and clean. All right, so I'm going to come back now and I'm going to just go over the same areas that I had before, because that's where I want the gold to land. It might, you know, you could use the whole, the solid image if you wanted the whole thing to be with the gold leafing. I like it to just be minimal. Okay, you can't really see it, but it's just pretty much the same. And then we're going to put on the heat and stick powder, and then that's when the gold just lays right on that really nicely. Okay, and let's do this guy. Make sure I give him a little bit down here because I do want my corners to have a little shine. I think I got them all. And we'll just do this one here. Okay, so that's it for the Versamark. Now we get into the heat and stick powder. And I'm waiting for another one to come. This is how small it comes in the container. But it's pretty difficult to deal with it just from that. So I put it in a little Tupperware, a little just a little bowl to catch it, because I don't want to waste it. I'm waiting patiently for my next one to come. So what I'm going to do here is just like I'm going to emboss it, I'm going to just put this all over. And we will use the heat tool, but not like we do normally for, I'll make sure all my pieces are covered there. Not as much as we would do to heat emboss it, because this thing, we just want it to get sticky. We don't want it to get so so hot that it melts it. So kind of a fine line of when you're gonna want to stop it, but you'll see it will turn color, and I'll show you that in just a second. So once this looks pretty good, it's nice and frosty, and having this container really helps to keep it all, because until I get my new stuff, I don't want to waste it. Okay, so now that we have it so nice and frosty, now I'm just going to take my heat gun to it, and I'm going to be off camera for just 5 seconds because I don't want to be anywhere near those flakes. But you can hear how long it takes, and let me see if I can do it over here so you can see. Let me just move this out of the way. I don't want those flying all over the place. All right, so you'll see how fast you can see it change in color. And that's how you know that it's sticky. Okay, that's it. So I can see that it looks a little sticky, and it just got a little bit darker in color. So now let's bring out the gold, and we're just going to put it right over it. And if I was, and I'm just going to lay it in there, and if it doesn't cover everything, that's okay. I can just use my fingers. And that's the whole idea, is that it's going to stick in the places that you want it to, and you can just keep rubbing until this gets all off, and it will just show up on the little places that you wanted it to. Okay, so now once I get all the big ones off, then I come in with the sponge and just take off the bulky ones that are just hanging on top. And if you like this one here, that looks a little too solid, so I can just keep working it until that gets off. And you have a lot of control here of what you want to stay on and what you don't. And then you can just get rid of those little ones in between. But look how pretty that looks. Okay, I'm liking it. Okay, so let's just put this aside gently and try to save as many flakes as you can for when you're done. And then just gonna give it a little blow so that those little pieces go right off. And that's really it. So now we can start making our card, and let's just build it. But that's done. And like I said, you can do as much as you want. If you wanted to press in more and not take off, not wipe off so much, go for it. Okay. All right, just gonna put this right up here. And because it was the gold, with the gold leafing, I decided to do some gold regular heat embossing for this on my tag here. So I already did that. I just heat embossed it in gold, and I'm just gonna put that right there. Before I do that, I'm gonna take another little item from the same suite. This is the Fine Art ribbon, and I'm just gonna put a little tab just sticking out just a little bit. So I'll put a glue dot in the middle here. And this does fray a lot too, which is good or bad. It depends if that's what you were looking for. And then I'm going to put another glue dot on this side so I can add it right underneath where my sentiment tag is going to go. And I think if I put that there, that's fine. And then I'm going to pop this baby up with some dimensionals. And then to keep with our theme of gold, I'm going to add a little glitter dot right to the side of the tag here. And my glitter dots are, I can't find them now, but they're around here somewhere. Okay, let me just show you really quick another way to, here they are, another way to use this. I mean, you could use liquid glue. You could just sponge on some liquid glue. For me, the problem with that is then you have to know when it's dry, but not too dry, because it still needs to be sticky. So you don't want to do, so you just have to be a little bit more careful with that. So here I'm just going to add my little gold glitter dots to this. And I think that looks pretty nice. And you could have added more to it, whatever. And I do have some other projects coming up where I will, I'll just be doing one flower image. So I might add a little bit more to it. But for this, I just wanted it as an accent. And I'm happy with that. Okay, so let me show you really quickly how I did this last one. And it's with using tear and tape. So like I said, you can use glue, you can use glue dots. I think that would work fine, where you just put some glue dots on something, and same thing, just put it right into your bin where you have your flakes. And that should work fine too. So for this card here, what I did was I made a frame around it out of the gold, the gilded leafing. I'm not so sure about a black flower, so I'm not like crazy about this, but I did want to, once I did it, I did want to make it into a card. So, and it just taught me that you just need to be a little careful around the corners when you are adhering the tear and tape. So let's try that. This paper, by the way, this is the same. This is an image from the same art gallery bundle. This paper is from another suite, and it's the True Love DSP. I'm not positive if that's the name of the suite, but it's all black and white paper, which I adore. Okay, so for this, we don't need that, but I'm just going to use my tear and tape, and I'm going to try to be careful when I think I'll try cutting it. Maybe that will make it easier. So all you want to do is make it the width of the tear and tape and just follow it right to the end there. And let's cut this so it's nice and even. Okay. And then same thing here. I'm going to start right there. I think before I overlapped it, and that was why it buckled up a little bit. So as long as you're right to it, you should be fine. And you could just make a design of just stripes, of gold leafing stripes. You don't have to do a full frame. And let's see, let's put that one right there. Okay, so let's see. So I'm just going to release the top layer here. Try to keep it nice and flat. So far, so good. Okay, so we'll bring back out the leafing, and very carefully. So this is a small area, so I don't know how that got in there. It's certainly not gold. All right, I'm just going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay this down right on there, pick it up, and then even if I see some white spaces that don't have it, I can just run my finger right over it to make sure that I have the full coverage of the glue. Okay. And you could really even just make it as heavy as you want. I don't like it heavy, so I'm going to try to get as much off as I can. As long as I have a straight line, that's all I care about. And it looks pretty good. Let's try getting off. This is what really flattens it out. So if you don't want it flat, you can just use your fingers. But this, I think, brings it. And then it still has that texture to it, so I like it. So this one I can use separately too. I think this was a 3.5 inch square. But there you go. And you have a nice little frame here. And that was the trick. Just make sure that you don't overlap your tear and tape when you're doing that. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little video on this fabulous new product. The Gilded leafing is so much fun to work with, and you can do so much with it. And I just gave you 2 uses of it with the Versamark and the tear and tape, but there are so many more that that you can use, and it will come out with perfect results every time. Okay, thanks so much for joining me today. I appreciate it, and just make sure that you subscribe to my YouTube channel to make sure that you do see my next video that's coming out. I'm doing a whole Celebrate the Suite video on this actual suite because, like I said, I just love it so much. Okay, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. Have a great day. Stay safe. Bye-bye.